Howdy friends, my name is Wes Lee. I work on band instruments for a living. Thanks for stopping by my shop today. Man, wasn't that a fun project yesterday on that crazy horn? Okay, today we're going to make a mouth pipe. My specialty has always been making something from nothing. If parts are available, that's great. If parts aren't available, I don't let that stop me. We just make something. We make what we need. I think you've seen that in tools and other instruments that I've fixed. So I'm going to take you through what we got on this vintage tuba today. Let's jump right on in. Come follow along. This mouth pipe is trashed. Long term, after I've got my trust from the customer, we're going to be taking the dents out of this and we're going to be making it great. And I'm hoping to make more videos on using this actual instrument. These things are beasts if you've never played a 20J. So what we're going to do, while I found out that they do still make a mouth pipe for this, there are none in the country. So we're going to make the mouth pipe for this. Now, we're going to have to take this dent out from here. We're going to use a raw tube. We're going to try to pull this receiver, although I did buy some receivers. And we're going to take some measurements because this has got a sleeve on it. That's not going to help us any. Okay, and then we have to make all of this. All right, let's go. Okay, right here, this is getting it in. I want to take these. Okay, so you're asking why did I heat and wipe this end and this end on an old dead pipe? The reason is I'm going to take a measurement, and I know I've already looked. This is 579 down here at the Venturi end. Okay. Now, at the end of this pipe, oops, let me pull this in front. At the end of this pipe, this is a 564, basically. Okay, so that's going to be too small for our application. I want to go and find a spot where it's going to be that close to that 579. And here, that's a 577. So I'm going to mark that spot. I know this is where my mouthpiece receiver is going to go in the end on the final product. And so this is where I'm going to start from. This is my new pipe that is pitch filled, corked up on this end. And I did spring for a new receiver as well. Here's the original receiver. Here's a new one. This fits my receiver. This fits the old receiver, and it's a nice tight fit. It's not a wobbly fit like this would have been. We're going to discard that old. Okay, so here I've started my bend a little bit. I'm going to start bending this around, and then I'm going to bend it down. Most of the time I just freehand it. This is a pretty complex bend. It was supposed to come here and then kind of slightly go down and kind of work its way. It's stair-stepped and then also kind of coming in back to where the valve casing would be. So it's just a lot of handwork for me. There are people that build forms and, like I say, out of wood and use other things. I just use stuff that I have around my shop, my knee as well. So you just got to put the time in and get it done. So let's work on it. Getting pretty close. Well, mine's a little more swooping than what this one is. But if I hold up, I'm about in the same planes. I probably got a little more swoop to mine, but I think it'll be all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get this marked out for a cut, probably somewhere around here. Typically I make my end cuts long so then I can go back and shorten up if I have to. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see. Got to cut off. Let's see how it fits. That's perfect in there. Lines up there. I'm taking a little bit too much of a dive right there. See? So I've got this bend a little bit too much. I've got this square coming out of there, so that's going to line up. This is going too much this way, so we have to bring this back. Okay, coming in for the second fitting. This is much better across here. And up to here, we're still diving a little bit. We're still diving a little bit down here. But man, this brace is really torn up here. We may have to do something else about that. This is, let's grab the camera. This brace here, look, it's running uphill. It's running this way. So this should be parallel like this. This is all kind of out of whack. So maybe we can either bring this back or we may have to do something else there. But our mouth pipe is getting closer. As my dad would say, just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, this is all fitting in very nicely here. We're coming out on this ramp. This probably needs to go back open a little bit. And then this has got to tuck back in. Oh yeah, oh yeah, we got a winner now. Okay, I'm hand holding again, sorry if it's shaky. So this, we have a great fit here, follows the old solder here, coming up and around, got our mouthpiece receiver on, and we're at a good straight. That's going to be real nice. Notice that brace is all kinds of jacked up, so we're going to have to figure out something on that. Probably need to trim off a little bit of this receiver end, and I think we're going to be good to go to get the tar pitch out of that from here. So hang tight. I don't know if they still make these. These are old Farees swedging pliers, or they may have actually even come from Eric Brand. I'm not sure. But they've got long handles, and they will get some... They're made for grabbing onto round tubing and holding bolts on the end and whatnot. They're great for swedging pliers, heavy-duty swedging pliers on the woodwind bench. But as you can see, they work great for straightening tough braces as well. As I think I stated earlier, the pipe is filled with tar pitch. Tar pitch is the same stuff that they roll on roofs or roofs. Anyway, that's what allows us to make the bends in the pipe without collapsing the pipe. So we have to get this out. We do that by heat. Basically, you're going to anneal the mouth pipe. You never start in the middle. You always start at one of the ends and let it flow through. Have some water nearby so you can dunk it. Always do this operation outside. Yeah, you may have great ventilation. Do it outside. So we're going to start by warming up this. You'll see the pitch starting to flow. We always would have games trying to see how big of a lump we could get it to fall out. There's a big chunk. I like to go about halfway. And get that other end out. So from here, we'll put in the chemical flush to get out all of the residual burnt off. You repeat that process of heating it all out. If you pull it out of the chem flush and you still have tar tracks in it, then you anneal it again. And you just keep doing that. Scrub it with a brush, put it in the chem flush, check it. Burn it, scrub it, chem flush it, check it. Do that. Sometimes you have to do it 2 or 3 times. Sometimes you get lucky and it comes right on out. Okay, after we get out of the chem flush, we got it scratch brushed inside. It's all nice and clean. Now we're on to the next portion of the manufacturing process. So we've got little dents and little raises all the way around. And so you have to clean all this stuff up. You need to make it smooth like this, and then you can buff it. So, and you see you just have these little, it's just little stretch marks and such, and it just gives your work a pro look if you take care of all that stuff. So that's what we're going to work on now. You can either use a file and then sand. If you don't have a strapping sander, but you have a belt sander, most of the time there's a relief up under here, so that you can mimic a strapping sander. It'll get the job done. So what I hit it first with was black to cut out all the fire marks. And then I came back, and this is a white compound I'm ready to mount. Okay, from here I want to make sure that I've got the burr from the inside. I like to take my countersink and chamfer a relief. From here, I'm really happy with how my mouth pipe has turned out and how I've got it to lay in back on all of the braces. Pretty exact. I think I'm going to solder up this first. I'm not going to use anything to hold it together. I've got a good fit on my parts. I'm going to tack here, go back there, and then finish up down here, I think. Although if you have access to compressed air, I really like that. Now I've gotten all the buffing dirt off of this, and I'm ready to spot lacquer it. But this looks new, and this has this patina to it. So I'm going to use fire to darken my mouth pipe. I'm going for a pretty big lazy flame. Not hot enough to solder or melt my solder, and I'm continually moving it. I don't want to burn any lacquer that's there. And be careful not to go too far, because when you put your lacquer on, your spot lacquer, depending on what it is, you'll darken it too much. lacquer gives it a little bit of a darker tone. You may have already known that tip. How do you darken your brass before you lacquer it? Shoot me a comment. Let me know. I'm always interested in learning something new. Got it spot lacquered. Looks really nice. Well, friends, thank you for joining me today. That mouth pipe turned out really nice. I think the customer is going to be extremely pleased, and I think we're going to make a long-term project with him about getting this beautiful Conn 20J restored. Sure needs to be. Thanks for hanging with me today. Thanks for stopping by my shop. This is Wes Lee signing out. See you next time.